So what is happening in the country Delhi University seems to be a microcosm of what is happening elsewhere. These programs in the open were not so vulnerable or unsafe. I never felt so unsafe as I felt that day after this.
I'm just thinking, and that is something which is very worrisome. That this time they just poured a bucket of water, or
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
their anger or whatever intolerance, but it could have been a more harmful attack,
Yeah,
and they could have.
absolutely. That's what people are saying. It could have been bucket full of stones, bucket full of acid, of anything.
This
Yeah.
incident which happened to you, has it sent a chilling effect now on the other professors who are of a different ideological leaning, and even they must be wondering about their safety, that if it can happen to Professor Irfan Habib, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah, it can happen. Yeah, of course, because this is something which will not stop, because it's a message you are trying to convey or send across, that you can conveniently get away by harassing somebody or harming somebody like me. So the point is, one has to continue speaking, raising the voice, and the academics, even who belong to a different ideological program, they also need to understand that academics is something else. We should not stoop down to that level.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought provoking conversations. A bucket of water was thrown at historian S. Irfan Habib by an unidentified individual at Delhi University's arts faculty on Thursday while he was addressing the students at an event. Now, the incident occurred during the People's Literature Festival, that is a Samta Utsav, which was organized by the left affiliated All India Students Association as an alternative to the university's official literature festival that began the same day. Now, but what happened? Why did this incident take place? What is really happening on the campus, especially when it comes to an intolerance like these, when even the professors are not spared? I thought of speaking with press with Professor Irfan Habib, who joins us. Thank you so much, sir, for joining on HW News Network. And a very unfortunate incident which happened really. What happened actually with you, and what was the trigger? Why the elements did this kind of a thing?
Trigger, I don't know what was the trigger, because everything was normal. When reached there and I started speaking, I spoke for 20 minutes, and there were about 150, 200 students over there, boys and girls. Everybody was very intently listening to what I was saying, and it was totally peaceful. There were 4, 5 policemen standing just about 50 yards away from me, and then suddenly a bucket full of water comes from behind the boundary wall. So nobody saw at that moment who did that, because it was
Right.
thrown from behind and behind the wall. So somebody was there who was lurking and trying to do something like this. So I I personally have no idea who these people were, but surely there were people who disagree with the idea of Samta Utsav, or the
Hmm.
idea of what I was saying. They didn't believe in what was being said, or what was being organized by the group of these young students.
So, Habib, is it true that these were these were the Akhil Bharati Vidyarthi Parishad members
See,
who were behind sort of an act?
this is what Isa has said, because they are all local bodies of students, so they know each other better than me, because I was a guest who went there to speak. So I'm not really sure who was there, because there were no slogans, there were no flags or anything on display so that one can identify. But you can always say that there were people who do not agree with the idea of composite nationalism, with the idea of plurality of India, with the idea of diversity of India. So what is happening in the country is a Delhi University seems to be a microcosm of what is happening elsewhere, because it is not for the first time that I went to speak in DU at this particular spot. I went, I think, 3-4 times before, and nothing happened. So it was for the first time, and these programs in the open were not so vulnerable or unsafe. I never felt so unsafe as I felt that day after this event. So this is something very unusual.
About you now, Professor Habib, are you worried that you can't be doing programs like these in
Uh,
open if an
one
incident has
has to
happened?
be one has to be careful. You can't stop speaking, because that is the victory of all those forces who want to shut you up. So, but the thing is that one has to be a little more careful in going out. Maybe not in such open places on the roadside, uh, because the same is happening in JNU. In JNU, no room or hall is available for any program which students want to organize. I've been
No,
to
but
JNU.
I'm just thinking, and that is something which is very worrisome, that this time they just poured a bucket of water, or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah.
their anger or whatever intolerance, but it could have been a more harmful attack,
Yeah,
and they could have.
Moramful, absolutely, absolutely. That's what people are saying. It could have been bucket full of stones, bucket full of acid, or anything, anything. So this is some sort of a like precaution one has to keep in mind, and because times are like that, what can you do? Well, there is no control, for people like us, because this is.
So, Habib, this type of incident, what does it do to the campus life? What does it do to the lives of the professors? What does it do to the lives of the students? What does it do in general to the campus life? What is really happening?
Campus life campus life is under severe pressure, and we hear it very often. My so many friends, faculty colleagues over there in different departments, they all narrate their tales, how things are, how bad things are, because b- the space is shrinking, intolerance is increasing. It is not, but the comfort level of teaching is not there. Students relationships are not very good. Matlab, they are tense all the time. That's what the students told me, that you have come today for a few minutes, we have to be here, and we face this all the time. So general atmosphere is not very conducive to freedom to learn, freedom to teach. So that is very palpable. You can see, and you can feel. So that is because university spaces are spaces for dialogue, for discussion, diverse ideas, where there are disagreements which can be resolved through discussion. Because university is the best place for this churning. And if you put a check on this by intimidating like this, or instilling fear into people's minds, hearts, then obviously you are doing something very different than what university is supposed to do. So for me, this is the most like my personal safety, security, my fear. That's okay. It's not. It has happened with me. It can happen with somebody else. So the point is, why should this happen?
No, but did you
Why
lodge any
university?
Did you
I
feel
didn't,
the need to
because
talk to police
I
about it?
I I didn't lodge any complaint, because the organizers must have done it. I don't know. And who where to lodge it? There were policemen over there, right
Oh,
there, just 50 yards away. Five of
and they
them.
didn't do anything. No, and
They
they
kept
were
talking.
mute.
They kept talking to each other. They didn't even look at what has happened. Only the students ran. They came and they tried to wash my, like, clean my jacket and all that. And so I stopped for a few seconds, and then I continued. So the point is that I didn't let the program disturb, because we just continued like that.
Mm.
So there was no unease among people, except for a few seconds. And then it went on till late evening, by 6, I think 6 o'clock. That's what they told me.
But
So
why do you think it happened with you? I mean,
I don't know.
do you see this as a fight between the rightist elements and the leftist elements, or do you see this as a fight where the BJP elements are getting more and more intolerant? They want their line to be told also on the campus.
Actually, this is actually, there was a festival already happening, the official literary fest which the university is organizing, and this was an alternative which they tried to organize outside the campus, on the gate. So it was happening simultaneously, just a few meters away from each other. So the point is that these are. I don't know whether I was the target, or these people, organizers, were the target, or their program was the target. Maybe if somebody else had been speaking, because I was the first speaker, so maybe he or she would have been attacked. I have no idea, because there was no slogan against me. There was no noise, for that matter. They just did this. So maybe I was a target, or maybe I was not. So one cannot say with any confidence, because
No, but this particular incident, what is the kind of message which is sent out to the other professors also? And it almost looks like an ideological fight now, which is
yeah,
playing out
yeah, yeah,
on the
yeah.
campus.
Yeah, of course. No, it is. It is. It is a sort of a message for everyone, because everybody has to be cautious, careful. Not that anybody need to stop speaking or writing, or saying what one wants to say, nor me, or nor anybody else. But one has to be careful of the times we are living in. And as I said somewhere, this is the new India we are living in. This is a university of a new India. And so obviously, when you do that, then one need to be really aware of the times, which is unfortunate. One should not be, because that should be freedom to do, or to say, or to speak, or to write what you want to. But the attempt was to put some curbs on the voices of people like me, or others like me, because if you talk of togetherness, if you talk of human values, above religious diversity, or respect diversity of India, which is our strength always, and not talk of homogeneity, whether linguistic or religious or cultural. No, and that's what I was trying to say, even at that moment, that our country is diverse, and we have always respected heterogeneity, and so we cannot impose majoritarian homogeneity on the country. And any attempt to look at the past in terms of majoritarian values is going to harm our country, our togetherness, our love for each other, respect for each other. And I always say that we don't have to tolerate each other. That is not enough. Tolerate is a very negative expression. We should respect each other and give space to each other.
So I was saying, sir, there are two things. One is, of course, the intolerance part of it, and the other
Yeah.
is a freedom of expression. Now, look at what happened with General Naravne's book. There was a ban on his book, and now the center has come up with a 20-year cooling period for the retired top officials, that you can't write a book and you have to wait for 20 years. What would you
Yeah.
say to that?
Uh, uh, these are all very, I think, very, very, very political decisions which are being taken, and very, very selective, because we have seen how things have worked for others in the past. So many retired generals and raw chiefs and all sorts of people have written books, and nobody questioned them, and there was no cooling period even talked about. So I don't know what is happening. This is something which is very, very, very selectively political, and it is being done for for convenience of all those who who feel inconvenient with what has been written. Uh,
No, but
because
if this is like, this is a situation which is stemming out from the campus to the outside world.
yeah,
I'm just wondering that what is the solution to a problem like this? I mean, there were times when campus was tolerable for everyone, and people were having a life on the campus which was harmonious, which
yeah.
was tolerant for everyone. Now, how what is the way out for this?
Way out is way out is that we need to mend our ways, the way we are operating, the way we are looking at education, the way we are looking at our youth, uh, the way we are trying to weaponize our history, using it for political purposes, because all this is being done with a concerted plan. There is an agenda. It's not being done just like that. So we can see how things are moving. So they are moving with a planned program, and so till that happens, because one is sure. I have seen how people have written books before, how people have written history, historians have written history. There was always some like there is like historians, even senior historians, they believe, and I agree with that, that there is no objective history. No, when you see historians, there is always a mark of an individual historian's thinking, his own understanding, ideological leanings. No, all that is reflected. Issue comes when you stop writing history with rigor, with sources, yeah, and start writing history on the basis of imaginary facts, and write history on the basis of what you want history to be, so that you can use it effectively for your today's concerns, political concerns, social concerns, all sorts of things. So this is what is happening today, and this is what is causing problem for us, because
But
historians.
this
Yeah,
incident which happened to you, has it sent a chilling effect now on the other professors who are of a different ideological leaning, and even they must be wondering about their safety, that if it can happen to Professor Irfan Habib, it can happen
uh,
to anybody?
yeah, it can happen. Yeah, of course, because this is something which will not stop, because it's a message you are trying to convey or send across, that you can conveniently get away by harassing somebody or harming somebody, like me, in this case, or maybe somebody else in future. So this is something which need to be looked into, and we need to understand, and across political affiliations, ideological affiliations, all of us together need to
But
understand
with
that.
you, this incident, what happened was that, do you feel that it was because of the ideology, or because of the religion you come from?
I I don't know. I think religion, because I didn't see any slogan against me, or any religious this thing slogan being raised by anybody. So I can't say if that was the reason, but wonder, anything can happen today in today's India. But I
why
have
I
no.
asked why I asked you about the religion was that you come from a religion where
Yeah, yeah,
people from this religion are always persecuted. They are taught a lesson, and
yeah,
there are chief ministers in the state who say that Mia ko to hum theek kar
yeah,
denge. All the Mias will go out. That kind of a narrative exists. So
yeah.
obviously, I have to ask you this question: that was this attack because of your religion as well?
Yeah, if looking at all that which is happening, it fits into that narrative. It fits into that narrative, if we look at what is happening during the past few years. So, but I have no proof to confirm that it was actually one of the reasons. It may be, because
You said that haven't made a complaint, but you think that this kind of an incident should be taken very lightly. Did you have the vice chancellor speaking to you at all after this incident?
Nobody. But they gave a statement. I think university officials gave a statement that we were not aware of what is happening, and nobody has come to us. No, because for them it was happening
Vice
something.
chancellor call you? Did the vice chancellor call you to just find out whether
No,
you're fine, you're okay? No, no call.
no, nothing at all.
No,
Nothing.
but isn't this a very surprising kind of a nonchalance, given the fact that your own professor on the campus gets attacked this way?
Yeah. That is these are the it's a reflection of the times. This is how things are today. You don't bother. You don't bother. If
No, but
you don't want to.
sir, you said that we can't stop speaking. So this kind of an incident also can't be normalized in this manner, saying that, oh, it's fine, these are the reflection of times, but one will have to speak. And that's why I thought of speaking with
Yeah,
you. That
yeah.
this
Of course, one
incident
has to.
is an important eye opener again.
Yeah. There's no question of not speaking or not continuing to raise our voice. That we all need to do, and I will also do. So that should not be the signal that we need to stop. And that's why I continued to speak what I was speaking at that time. I didn't really stop. So
Yeah,
the point is that people want you not to speak, but this is not what we are going to do. Otherwise, it is their victory. So the point is, one has to continue speaking, raising the voice, and the academics, even who belong to a different ideological program, they also need to understand that academics is something else. We should not stoop down to that level, and debate, discussion should take place, left, right, center, whatever. No, that is something else. So this whatever is happening actually is happened mainly because of this ideological. That's what I believe. That ISA students and the Ambedkarite students, they all gathered over there, and they were raising slogans. They were raising their voice against what is happening in the UGC Act, no, and slogans of Jai Bhim. And so it was a very casteist element also to it. And so there were people who started speaking for Brahman. That I saw some reports yesterday. The casteist slogans of the upper caste groups of people. So this is something which is happening at a different level as well. This caste factor, religious factor is
yeah.
of course there, as you said. There's a caste
Hmm.
factor, the class factor. There are so many contradictions and
Right.
clashes, ideological issues.
No, but how do you think you can tackle these issues on the campus? Obviously, the youths are being weaponized, like what you said. In
Yeah,
current times, what do you think youth should be doing? I mean, should youths be listening to the right wing voices? But if the youths themselves are getting attracted to the right wing ideology, how can you prevent that?
yeah. Delhi University has been in their control and in their grip for years. Uh, it's only once in a while that they lose their space. Otherwise, it has always been there. So one has to confront them, like confront them not physically, but confront them with ideas, with debate, discussion, and continue to have a dialogue. But the point is, if they are ready to have a dialogue, so you can't have a dialogue, you can't have a monologue. You have to have a discussion where others also agree to sit down and discuss what is happening. In any case,
True.
university is a space for advancement of knowledge, and that space should not be shrunk to these debates. These debates have their own importance, values, but basically, university is a place where you could peacefully advance knowledge.
But in your decades long career, have you ever faced a situation like this before?
Never, 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 never. This is the first time. No, I have been speaking at so many places, universities in Delhi, outside Delhi, and JNU. I don't know how many times. I can't even count. and so but never happened like this. So this is something very alarming. It's an alarming thing, because you students or anybody go to this extent of like almost physically attacking you, harming you. So there's a disturbing trend, and this should not be encouraged, or should not be seen as something very in a very lighter vein. It's a serious thing, because it can take even much serious proportions if you don't nip it in the bud. Because it didn't happen just anywhere. It happened in the campus, in the heart of the university.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and broad daylight at 2 o'clock.
I'm sure people in your home and your friends and your close friends must be telling you that you need to be careful. But
Lots of
yeah, and what next now for you, sir? I'm sure you'll continue to speak like you speak. You'll continue to perform academically what you've been doing. But has this episode really changed something in you? Because you were saying that this was the first time an attack like this has happened to you.
For me, I think it has not changed at all, because I still continue to believe that we need to keep talking, because that is how one can engage, and one can confront, because there's no other way. And I'm happy to tell you that in the past 2 days, I was surprised at the overwhelming support which I got from across the spectrum. Large number of my very, very senior academics, historians, who have been calling, sending messages, etc., and on Twitter especially, all the senior journalists, everybody, political people, across political parties. So that sort of support has been there, which I didn't even expect, that people will actually take it so seriously. So that has happened, and I believe that all this is a message to continue what we are doing. And my family initially was shocked for a while, but they all believed that what I did was absolutely necessary, and we should continue to do that.
Anything you would like to tell the students who've done a nasty job, because everybody is suspecting that it was the ABVP students who did this, and to send out a clear message to you and also to other professors. So what would you like to say towards the end, sir?
My message, which I always give to people, is that you go back to, like, I give the example of Bhagat Singh, whom I have worked for more than 45 years. And I keep telling people, and because Bhagat Singh is one of our most iconic heroes, and everybody wants to use him, but they don't want to see Bhagat Singh as a thinker. There are very few people who want to see him as a thinker. Others want to just see him as a great shaheed and a nationalist. But he was a man with a lot of ideas. And one message which I want to send across is that if you believe that Bhagat Singh was a great revolutionary icon for you, then follow what he said. He said, when somebody asked him that in the past 4 years, one of his friends met him. He said, in the past 4 years, we have changed immensely. You're not the same rustic young boy from a village. What has happened to you? How did you bring about this change? You know what Bhagat Singh said? He took out a book from his pocket. He said this: in the past 4 or 5 years, I have read whatever I have come across, and reading literature, poetry, prose, anything. Reading is the only thing which can cultivate humanity in you, cultivate generosity of ideas in you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
but that is the only thing.
Yeah. Professor Irfan Habib, it was wonderful talking to you, sir. Always a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.